The 90-Day Fiancé franchise has never been short of dramatic twists and emotional highs and lows, but one storyline that has truly captivated viewers recently is the contentious relationship between Warne and Sophie Sierra. From the very beginning, the couple seemed to have a tumultuous dynamic, which only intensified as their journey continued on the screen. Rob's villain edit has been hard to ignore, but it was Sophie's shocking allegations of abuse that left fans wondering what really happened behind the scenes. Rob, who was introduced as a calm, somewhat introverted man, quickly found himself embroiled in controversy after Sophie made bold claims of mistreatment during their time together. Sophie's accusations have rocked the 90-Day Fiancé fanbase, sparking debates about what truly went on between the two. As if the tension weren't high enough, Rob has finally responded, and his reaction has left many fans questioning the authenticity of the entire situation. Rob and Sophie's relationship was anything but smooth. What began as an attempt at genuine connection quickly descended into chaos as the couple faced communication barriers, differing expectations, and, most notably, Rob's inability to deal with Sophie's emotional outbursts. Sophie, on the other hand, appeared to grow increasingly frustrated with Rob's passive approach to their issues. Their dynamic became a volatile mix, often erupting in dramatic confrontations that played out on screen. From the moment the cameras started rolling, viewers could see the cracks forming. Rob's laid-back demeanor contrasted sharply with Sophie's fiery personality, creating an environment ripe for conflict. However, it wasn't until much later in their storyline that the accusations of abuse came to light, taking everyone by surprise. Sophie had claimed that Rob was emotionally abusive toward her, leading her to feel trapped and powerless. She spoke about instances where she felt belittled and criticized, with Rob's dismissive attitude exacerbating her already fragile mental state. These claims added a shocking layer to the couple's portrayal, turning Rob into a polarizing figure in the 90-Day Fiancé universe. When Sophie's allegations became a central part of their storyline, Rob's portrayal took a drastic turn. In what fans have labeled a villain edit, Rob found himself painted as the antagonist of the relationship. His quiet demeanor was juxtaposed with Sophie's more vocal frustrations, making it easy for viewers to assume that he was at fault. The editing choices, coupled with the emotional nature of the abuse claims, left Rob in an incredibly difficult position. His previously neutral persona was completely overshadowed by the scandal, and soon he became the subject of online hate. Social media was filled with condemnations, with many fans expressing their disappointment and anger toward Rob. Some even accused him of manipulating the narrative and deliberately hurting Sophie, while others speculated that there was more to the story than what was shown on screen. Rob, however, took to social media to try to clarify his side of things. His posts read, "I never intended to hurt Sophie, I got frustrated. And I didn't always handle situations well, I know I have my flaws. But I would never hurt her intentionally, I just didn't know how to deal with the stress and the constant pressure. That doesn't excuse anything, but I was not the villain they're making me out to be." Sophie's accusations of abuse were not only shocking, but also deeply personal. During an emotionally charged interview, she described the ways in which she felt emotionally drained by Rob's behavior. She spoke about how his lack of communication and dismissiveness created an unsafe environment for her emotionally, making her feel isolated and unsupported. Sophie's words were raw and filled with emotion as she recounted her experiences, which added fuel to the fire of their already fraught storyline. "I felt like I was walking on eggshells," Sophie explained. "He would get frustrated so easily, and I just didn't know how to handle it anymore. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't be myself. It was constant criticism." Her allegations painted a picture of a relationship in which one person felt suffocated and helpless, while the other seemed detached and unwilling to address the issues. Sophie's bravery in sharing her story resonated with many fans, who expressed sympathy for her and rallied behind her claims. However, some viewers questioned whether the show's editing had played a significant role in shaping the narrative. Rob, while admitting his own faults, denied the more severe claims, asserting that he never resorted to physical or intentional emotional abuse. Amid the growing backlash, Rob finally spoke out in response to Sophie's accusations. His tone was a mixture of regret and defensiveness as he tried to explain his side of the story. He acknowledged that their relationship had not been perfect, but he insisted that he was not the monster Sophie was describing. "I want to start by saying I'm sorry for making Sophie feel the way she did," Rob wrote in a lengthy Instagram post. "I know I've made mistakes, and I'm not perfect, but I think people need to understand that relationships are complicated. We both had our issues, and I wasn't always the partner I should have been." Rob continued, "But the abuse claims, they're hard to hear. I've never been abusive towards Sophie, I've never hit her, and I've never intentionally hurt her. We had arguments, sure, but that doesn't make me abusive. I didn't know how to cope with everything, and I got frustrated. That doesn't make it right, but it doesn't make me an abuser either." His words did little to quell the controversy, with many fans expressing doubt about his sincerity. While some appreciated his apology and the acknowledgement of his flaws, others felt that his explanation was a convenient excuse for the behavior that had been portrayed on the show. The fallout from Sophie's abuse allegations and Rob's response has been nothing short of intense. Fans have continued to take sides, with some supporting Rob and others rallying behind Sophie. Social media has been flooded with heated debates, and the 90-Day Fiancé subreddit has become a battleground for those who want to defend or condemn both parties. Some fans argue that Sophie's portrayal as a victim is justified, believing that her feelings of emotional harm are real and valid. Others believe that Rob's reaction is the product of a deeply flawed relationship dynamic, and that his actions were the result of frustration rather than malice. "It's clear that Sophie was in pain, and she needed someone to listen to her," one fan commented. "But Rob wasn't that person. I think both of them played a part in the dysfunction. But I don't think Rob should be labeled as abusive based on what we've seen." However, others have expressed disappointment in Rob, feeling that his lack of empathy and the way he handled Sophie's concerns only deepened her emotional distress. "I understand that relationships have challenges, but what Rob did was completely unacceptable," another fan wrote. "Sophie deserves someone who will support her, not belittle her." As the public scrutiny continues, Rob has a long road ahead if he hopes to rebuild his reputation and address the damage done by his villain edit and Sophie's abuse allegations. While he has apologized for his behavior, it remains to be seen if his words will be enough to repair the public's perception of him. Many fans are waiting to see if Rob will take further steps toward growth, such as seeking therapy or taking accountability in a more meaningful way. Sophie, meanwhile, seems to have moved on from the relationship, focusing on her own healing and finding her voice after the emotional roller coaster she endured. Her strength in sharing her story has garnered respect from fans, and it is clear that she is determined to create a life free from toxicity. The future of Rob and Sophie's story is uncertain, but one thing is clear: this chapter of their journey has forever changed their lives and their roles within the 90-Day Fiancé franchise. Whether Rob can move past his villain label and prove that he's capable of change remains to be seen, but for now, the story is far from over. This latest chapter in the 90-Day Fiancé saga leaves fans with more questions than answers. What will the future hold for Rob, Warne, and Sophie Sierra? Only time will tell.